Well, time now for the very latest from ENCA's Money Desk. Rafia Madzena standing by, waiting, I suppose, Rafia, very anxiously, not just for this Rugby World Cup final, but that Moody's announcement, which is expected today sometime. And I don't know, I think that's giving us just as many butterflies in our stomachs as the anticipation of this big event tomorrow.
You're very right indeed, Iveka, and I wish I was there to kind of soak in all the excitement of tomorrow. But as you say, the country is facing a review from Moody's tonight, which will most likely see the outlook on the country's investment grade rating drop to negative from stable. But according to some analysts, a downgrade may also be on the cards. And joining me to unpack some of the implications is Dawn Ridler, who's the founder of Kerenga Wealth Ecology. Dawn, many thanks for your time this Friday evening. Let's perhaps start with what we might be getting from Moody's, a downgrade or just a negative outlook?
I personally think it's just going to be a negative outlook. And although there are some people out there who think that we're going to get a full downgrade, the majority of analysts actually think that we're going to be downgraded to negative. There is one other sort of slightly more severe rating that we could get, which is a credit review. A negative downgrade to negative means that we could be put into full junk status within 12 to 18 months. The credit review shortens that to sort of 3 to 6 months. So it's more severe than just a straight negative downgrade. But I personally don't think we're going to be. They've forgiven us up until now. Hopefully it'll continue.
They'll do it one more time. The time frame that they give is quite scary. You say the 3 to 6 months if it's a credit review, if it's a negative outlook, 12 to 20?
12 to 18 months.
12 to 18 months.
But we've been there before recently.
But given the state of affairs that Minister Tito Mboweni painted for us on Wednesday, which is worse than we thought, right? Could we be able to fix ourselves in that kind of time frame, the 12 to 18 month time frame?
You know, what concerns me is that our economy and, the ability to attract tourists, all of those kind of things, is built on sentiment. And so, quite frankly, the last thing we needed was Tito Mboweni to put his personal touch on it. I mean, you saw the Rand, and the Rand tanked. The R186, which is a very important government bond, 10-year government bond, went from 8.1 to 8.5 instantly, right? And that is pure sentiment. That's pure negative sentiment of somebody who's just tweeting or just saying something, for the sake of it. So words are powerful, and maybe that wasn't taken into consideration. But there's so much inertia still in fixing what is wrong with the economy. 60% of our GDP comes from consumer spending, and consumers are suffering. And I think part of the reason you got such a strong reaction to what Tito Mboweni said was that he said, "Oh, I'm just going to tax you some more, one-off tax," and everybody just went, that's enough. I've got we've tightened our belts and tightened our belts. Government, it's time you tightened your belt. I think that is half of the problem. Right. And we've also. Yesterday saw Pravin Gordhan give some indications of what he's doing with Eskom. Yeah. And that wasn't, the market didn't receive that well because basically it's just moving the deck chairs around with the Titanic. Yeah.
It's a crazy time. And then just quickly, just the impact on the ordinary South African who's thinking, what does this downgrade mean for me? What exactly does it mean?
Going to negative is not going to have a very much of an impact. If we were to be downgraded fully into junk, it would have a significant impact on us because we would then fall out as Citigroup's worldwide government bond index, which is a very important bond index. And our exposure to that, our worldwide exposure to GDP is only half a percentage point. But that half a percentage point is 50 billion. It's a lot of money, right? And there are governments out there, all their investments, their pension funds, all that kind of thing, that just are not allowed to invest in junk status. And so they would have to just sell out and go. So you'd be looking at probably 50 million going out almost immediately. But our bond, things like the government bond, things like the R186 probably go right up to 9%. and with inflation running at 4%, that's a positive real rate of 5%. Which in places like Europe and the US and that, they haven't dreamed of that in years. So, maybe the private investors, the ones that aren't compelled to bail out, might just say, I'll take that 5%.
Very interesting insights indeed. As always, thank you for joining me in studio. I've been speaking there to Dawn Ridler, who is the founder of Kerenga Wealth Ecology.